I'm thinking something like. Hi.
And the delirium sets in. So yeah,
I did really good, didn't I?
Yeah, you did great.
I didn't say too much crazy shit.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got back from LA today. Drove from the airport to here.
But you had a sold out show in LA.
Can I tell you?
Congratulations.
The magical week. I'm about to cry. The magical week I had in LA.
Tell me about it.
It was so fucking good. Mm-hmm. Like, it was like the Lions portal this past week. Did you hear about the Lionsgate? Mm-hmm. And, it was, 8/8. It's Leo season. I don't know what else.
Year 24, which is a 8.
Huh?
8 times 3 is 24.
Oh, we bringing math into this? That's ridiculous.
It's an 8 year, like an 8th year. 2024. A multiple of 8?
What are you talking about?
That's the portal. The Lionsgate portal.
Well, now I'm upset.
It's August 8th, 8th month.
Okay.
8th day.
Okay.
And a year 24 is an 8th year.
Oh, okay.
24 divided by...
I'm with the month and the day, but when we start saying multiply, square root, it's like, okay, we get it. The portal's open.
Okay. Anyway. Sorry. Okay. Tell me about LA. Your week in LA and Lionsgate. Man, take 2.
No, that's very cool. That's very dope.
Your face. You're like, I thought you'd be into it.
No, I am. Just when people surprise me with math and just talk about it like, it's like, I went for what you just say. It's okay. Oh yeah. Like factor of 8 times multiplied. Also that. I'm like, no, that's insane. That's insane.
I'm awful at math. Me too. So normally my brain's like, I don't know what you're saying. As soon as they start talking.
You give me crystals, magic, universe. I'm good with all that. You start throwing like logic in.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll stick with the 8/8.
Perfect.
Lionsgate.
Love that. Yeah, so I went out to LA and so last year, turns out around this time, maybe it was 2 years ago this time, I auditioned for the Hollywood Improv, got passed, and just haven't been there. Mm-hmm. And going out there this time, I was like, okay, I'm going to get a manager. Somebody is going to I'm going to get some magic's going to happen, And then I realized it was 8/8. And this last year was I was there the exact day that I filmed my Don't Tell special. And I was like, ooh, that's a little magic. Mm-hmm. And somebody here, an agent here, sent a manager to my show out there, and they want to sign me. Yeah.
What?
We went to lunch.
What does that mean?
So they'd be my manager. So it's kind of like...
So, because you've been not doing manager.
Just me. It's been just me.
Yeah.
This entire time.
So you've decided to get a manager.
Oh yeah, I've been wanting it. And I've just been,
Girl, congratulations.
Yes. They took me out to lunch.
London done.
Come on. I got avocado toast, bitch, with an egg.
You're in California, of course.
Add that $2. It's on her. Thank you, by the way. It was very good. But it was so cool. So she came out to the show, watched me do my set, and sent me a message the next day, and I couldn't open the message. I was like, I can't open it. And Alex was like, just fucking open it. And I was like, I can't. And I only read, Amber, you were so, great seeing you last night. You were so, and I was like, I can't open it. And I was just like, what do you think it's going to say? Shitty?
Yeah, you were so bad. I wanted to send you an email about it.
It's just, I think I didn't realize how much emotion I had behind it.
Yeah.
And so when I opened it and saw that it was we'd love to work with you, I bawled of relief and was just so proud and ecstatic and just relieved, dude. Yeah. So that was a great meeting. And then they came to another show, right? The managers did. Then I had my headlining show. Crush that shit, bro. And
Of course you did.
Crush that shit. And the agent that sent out the managers was there. So like I walked downstairs getting ready for my set and she was like, hey. And I was like, oh shit. But then I did so well and we hugged afterwards and she was like, we got to talk. So who knows what's going to come from that. But I'm just like.
Wait, what's the difference between agent and manager?
It's a little blurred. I'm honestly like, we could probably just combine these two, you know?
You're like, you both want to come?
Yeah, exactly.
Y'all just collaborate.
For real. I think that in this case, the managers that I spoke to, they're very much like, we are in the developmental stage. So like we send you on auditions, we help you with booking shows, merch, all this stuff. And then the way I understand it, they prepare me up. And so an agent can just come in and be like, dude, and send me on bigger stuff. It's still a little blurry, but that's what it feels like.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little confusing.
But so you may have both now.
Right.
But you for sure have a manager now.
Yeah. I know. And it was just
What's their name?
It was just a magical. It's a team. Her name's Rachel and Tommy. They work together, but they work for Framework.
Okay.
But they rep a lot of like people that are like my peers and people I look up to. She used to work with Bob Saget. Like they used to work with bigger names, but they're like, we want to work more in the developmental stage. Yeah. So it was so dope. It was, and just the week was so magical, bro. I felt welcome everywhere I went. I felt loved on. Like I would go into a store, meet these two people, and they gave me free stuff from the store, and like we were hugging by the end and crying and like wishing each other well. Aww. And this just kept happening with everybody. Yeah. I performed at the store with David Spade, Arsenio Hall.
What?
Like
Cool.
Yes, I was on the lineup with them, and I felt obviously grateful where I'm like, holy shit, these are like people that I've looked up to my whole childhood.
Yeah.
At the same time, I felt worthy. I was like, I belong here. Like I felt there was just a piece of like, yeah, of course I'm a regular here. I felt like I belonged. It was really fucking cool.
It's a lot of like life dreams like happening.
Yeah.
Like, are you soaking it in?
I am. I like all week I've been crying.
No.
I reconnected with a friend. I stayed with a friend that I haven't seen in 10 years. And they cooked for me every night. They loved on me. I had a room like in their place. And I was just like crying before leaving. Like I can't express the gratitude of like reconnecting with you and just this magical week that I've had. And that was really nice. And Alex was like, dude, you literally did the dream. You went out to LA and did the dream.
Got signed.
Yeah. It's so dope. I just had the best time, dude.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I'm so proud of you. I knew it would happen. There's so much more, so just buckle up.
I feel that.
This is just the beginning.
I truly feel that.
You're going to be on Jimmy Fallon.
Oh my God.
And I'm going to go with you.
All right.
I'm going to cheer for you from the green room.
Yes!
Oh, it does, my girl. Me and Alex will just be cheesing it up.
I feel it, dude. I feel so good. I'm like, I'm so proud of myself. I was texting myself on Facebook Messenger last night of like, girl, and then I'd be like, I know, bitch, and she was like, you're doing it.
Wait,
I was just talking to myself. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it.
It was fun.
You're like your own hype woman, and I love it.
Truly, I'm becoming so much more of my best friend lately.
Oh, I know. We were casually, I feel like we were casually talking, and you were like, and normally I'm looking in the mirror and being like, oh, girl, you're cute. You're so cute. And
yeah.
Do you remember that conversation?
No.
It wasn't that long ago.
But I hear that.
I think you were like struggling with something, and you're like, normally I look and you're just like, oh, girl, you're cute.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, so
yeah,
I just thought I'm like, oh, I love that she does that.
Yeah. I really like myself.
I know. And we are trained to think that's such a bad thing to do, that we're like, conceited or we just shouldn't think about ourselves in good ways.
Right.
That it makes us vain or something. But,
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine getting to the end of your life and realizing it then.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, fuck, I wasn't very nice to myself, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm trying to lean into that more. It's just a great freaking time, dude.
Yeah.
Magical. I'm going to keep talking about it for a while.
You should. I'm
Yeah.
excited. I want to hear more.
Oh my God. Yeah. So also, like every time I come back and I'm tired and we have the podcast, I say this every episode, but I'm like, Jesus Christ, I don't know if I can do it. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
I had a great time.
Always is.
Yeah. And this was a little different. So like Caroline is a podcaster.
Caroline West.
Caroline West. Yes. And very funny, but like not a stand-up, but
Does Broadway Girls.
yes.
Her podcast. And so she does street interviews on Broadway.
Right.
And kind of breaking into more male-dominated areas of that industry, which is, I think, pretty cool.
Yeah. And we talk a lot about her experience being raised by a pretty, what's the word?
Misogynistic, at least. From what, I mean, I don't want to say narcissist because I don't know enough to name it that, but
Yeah.
lots of, I don't know,
No,
negative messaging and sucking it up and not thinking her job is legit. You know,
totally.
like that kind of
Be
stuff.
tough. Don't
Yeah.
cry.
Yeah.
I guffawed there, but no, that's totally accurate. I guffawed. I read. I've never said guffawed in a sentence. I gotta go to bed.
Yeah. You do. All right, y'all enjoy the episode. We out.
I don't know how you're awake right now. I would be dead. Are you dead?
Amber works good under pressure like this.
But I have learned,
She gets good second, third wins,
truly,
fourth wins.
you might get a little bit of energy. You're like,
It feels more like delirium.
It's okay.
yeah. I am like, yeah, maybe don't do things on travel days.
Hey, that's fine.
Am I going to listen to that? No.
No. Oh, it's okay.
I'm not going to listen to that. Here, I'm going to scoot this closer to you.
Okay.
Or if you'll scoot closer.
Get on up in there.
Yeah,
Get
like,
really
make it like,
intimate.
Right
You're
here.
going,
Oh, that's
you're gonna
good.
eat it.
Maybe raise it a little bit, yeah.
I also talk really loud, so I'm trying to like work on my voice control because if you're not loud, you're not living your life. So it's kind of like, you're like, you know, I don't have an inside voice. So
If you're not loud, you're not living your life.
yeah,
Were you told you were loud as a kid?
I am loud. I'm a loud.
You're like, no, I told them.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Basically.
Do you have siblings?
Oh yeah, I have a little sister. She just turned 21.
What?
Yeah, so she kind of keeps me, you know, up to date on the trends.
Oh.
Yeah, like there's certain words. What, am I allowed to cuss on this?
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that people ask that. Did we
They do
sing-
ask that
Because
often.
I
Christian?
have a really foul mouth.
I think maybe
I
it's
don't
just it's
know.
clean in here. There's
No.
plants. People are like, can I
Cut.
curse?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I just like to be respectful because,
Oh, that's nice.
you know, because clearly I don't have a filter, so you never know.
That's good.
Yeah.
Let it
yeah.
out.
I mean, some people don't like it, so I'm like, okay.
Well,
But yeah, so my
fudge
sis-
those people.
Well, my sister, so she's like, yeah.
We
fudge.
cuss fudge.
yeah.
No, she like updated me on the word serving cunt.
Yeah.
What?
What is that?
It's like,
Wait. Really?
Yes, and I was like, she's like, oh wow, that outfit's serving cunt. I said,
you
I was
said,
like,
ow.
excuse me, what did you just say? I was,
That word?
She's like, that's what you say nowadays, and I go, okay. I said, well, that's not how we say it.
That's what you said.
I'm like,
yeah.
girl, you look good.
I'm like, yeah, just say you look nice, and she's like, no, it's giving cunty vibes. And I was like,
I would totally take that as like not good.
no, that's what I said. I'm like, she's a cunt. Like,
right.
yeah,
They're
Like,
taking the
no.
word back.
I don't like it. I'm not here for that one.
No.
No.
I think I got more used to cunt after vagina monologues.
I loved that.
Right?
My friend was in it. It was really cool. Yeah.
That's amazing. Are you an actor at all?
No. No.
Okay, you said stop.
I get real awkward, so it is.
You're like, no.
I freeze. I'm like, huh? What's happening?
You were an actor.
I'm like,
What?
Am I making up that?
In like junior high, I was in
Okay.
like the school play.
Yeah, that's exactly. Everybody's still talking about that.
she wakes up at 3 a.m. and she's like, shit.
No, definitely not.
What play was it?
It was like in junior high. Like people just, whoever wanted to do it. And I
Oh.
thought that was fun. And it was like a,
You didn't have auditions?
I was a star of the show in my third grade play.
Yeah. Third grade.
There
That's
you
a
go.
pivotal.
Yeah.
That's a year, man.
no, we were like, it was like SNL style. It was a bunch of different kind of skits. It wasn't like a big long play.
Oh, okay,
And so
okay.
I was in a couple of like skit stuff.
Oh, I guess I thought you were.
Were you serving cunt?
Totally. I was the cuntiest cunt of everything.
that had ever cunted.
Yes.
So, Caroline, you host a podcast
Yes.
with Barstool, right?
So,
Well, how does that?
Barstool
Okay.
Tonight.
yeah, Barstool tonight.
I love
Question
it.
mark? Darcy loves you. She's licking her little elbows.
It's fine. I've got 2 dogs. I was just telling her one of them is neurotic, so but the other one's great. It's a foreshadowing of my future children, I feel like. So I started Broadway Girls, like the podcast, and I had to take a break, and so then I started rebranding, and then I'm gonna drop my first episode since I've dropped the couple episodes that I have next month. But Barstool, I paired up with Barstool when I started working there, and so they kind of like I'll just say sponsor my content and so stuff like that. So I'll be doing the podcast like out of our green room and stuff like that. So
Will you share what Barstool is for those that don't know?
Barstool the bar. So it's a so Barstool Sports. Yes, it's still like
that's what she was telling me about the sports. It's like an umbrella.
yes, it's an umbrella. So Barstool Sports with Dave Portnoy, and some people think he's a dick, but I think he's hilarious, and I think he's a very smart businessman. So he sold his company.
You could be both.
Yeah, he sold his company and then he bought it back for $1.
What?
Yeah, did y'all hear about that?
No.
Yeah, sold it and then bought it back for $1, and then it's still, like you said, it's an umbrella. So there's so many like podcasts and other things that are underneath Barstool, and then they have a couple bars that are a direct affiliate of it.
Wow.
And so he still has a lot of say in it and stuff like that, but I own Broadway Girls, so he doesn't. So if I get to the point where they're like, okay, we have to hand this over to Dave, then Dave's gonna have to like buy me out.
Oh,
or
nice.
add me to the umbrella.
So how did that? What is Broadway Girls, and how did it come? Tell me about it. Tell us about
So Broadway Girls came about when it was honestly just super random. I was on the street. I've worked in the service industry since I moved here 6 years ago, and I've worked on Broadway since then. So I was like, okay, what would be really funny is to like give people an insight on what we deal with in the service industry. And then plus my parents also were like, bartending's not a real job, like blah, blah, blah. All you do is party. And I'm like, no, I'm at 9 p.m. bedtime. Like, yes. So I really don't go out. And so my parents thought all I did was party. So I was like, okay, you know what? I was like, I'm just going to go do some like street interviews and just interview people and show you the bullshit we deal with in the service industry. So it started out that way. And then I was like, you know what? Why don't we just like make a podcast out of it and like show, like highlight the people that make Nashville what it is. It's like, it's the bartender that has a drink named after him. It's, like the hairstylists that are like doing the, celebrities, it's a makeup artist. It's, just the people, like the service industry people. I mean, and, I wanted to showcase that. And my mom was like, okay, well, no one's going to listen to it if it's like, no one cares about that. I'm like, they will if it's funny.
Why are they
They will if it's
so
funny.
much?
I don't know. They just shit on me. So I was like,
That's so uncunt.
I know.
But like cunt at the same time,
It works both ways.
So I wanted to, like I said, showcase what makes it what it is. And I feel like without all these like people behind the scenes, it wouldn't be what it is, which a lot of people would disagree. But I mean, Nashville
That's what runs it. Keeps it running. Yeah.
So, and people don't realize, like I said, the bullshit we have to deal with. And I'm like, it's not always about the drinking and the tourists. Like, there's actually depth to this. Like, you know, it's okay.
That's such a big thing, bro. When
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, Nashville sounds fun," I'm like, I want you to know there's more than Broadway.
Yes.
There's more than just drinking here.
Yeah. I'm like, you think that I'm like throwing ass to Sweet Caroline like every single day? I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm going to bed. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I'm like, no, I'm in bed by 9. And then that's it.
Yeah. Are you from Nashville?
No, I'm from Texas. So I'm a transplant.
Oh, that's okay.
Which do you prefer?
What?
What's your favorite out of Texas, Tennessee? Is it hard?
It is hard. I mean, Tennessee has my heart, but like Texas, I don't know. It depends on what day you ask me.
Because Texas is its own.
It's its own country.
It's Texas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where are you
you
from
don't
in
mess
Texas?
with Texas.
East
Right.
Texas, Tyler, Texas.
Oh.
We're Friday Night Lights. Isn't that Tyler, Texas?
No, it's
The foot-
Odessa.
Oh,
Dang.
I thought, yeah.
We're not that cool.
All right.
But I've heard of Tyler
that
for
cool.
some reason.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, anyways.
Anyway,
But also another reason of why I started Broadway Girls is because of they're like, it's basically, okay, so Miranda Lambert's like 10 minutes from my hometown.
Oh, cool.
From Tyler?
Yes, she's from Lindale. And then Casey Musgraves, she's from Alba Golden, which is like 30 minutes. Like, it's still all in the same thing. And if you don't have 2 kids by 21, you're going to die alone.
Right.
And like half the people that I graduated with, some of them been in jail, some of them have 5 kids, some of them are never leaving that town. And I'm like,
Yes.
peace and blessings. Like,
Yeah.
y'all have fun eating at the Sonic every day. Like,
Truly.
and I mean, that's just how I was raised. So I just wanted to, you know,
How you?
branch out a little bit.
Yeah.
What's how you were raised?
How I was raised.
Like
that small town mentality.
Yeah. Very close-minded.
Gotcha.
Very close-minded. Yeah. So if like, so my dad doesn't know that I do any of the street interviews and stuff like that.
Really?
He would shit the whole state of Texas. Shit the whole state.
It's a huge
Rock
shit.
Caroline.
What does he think you do?
Bartend.
Oh, okay.
And he doesn't think it's a real job. And I'm like, joke's on you, old man River. I'm like,
Is there in the bar scene in Nashville, as far as I've heard it told to me from somebody that works in the industry, it's almost like sorority fraternity, like the different bars. It's like very cliquey.
that's a very great way to describe that.
Yeah.
It is. The service industry is very cliquey.
Yes, and it's like they're different, but they're like dueling.
Yes.
Yeah,
Depends
like
on
in
which ones.
competition.
Trying to get people in there or just
No.
thinking you're the better bar?
Think of like if it's sorority or fraternity. It's like we're the best club. We're the
Oh.
best group of people.
They really care that much?
Oh, yeah.
It's a different lifestyle,
Oh,
and it's tough.
it sucks you in. I like
It's tough. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot. It really is. Like, you get into that fast cash like mentality, but I mean also, I mean, I do have like an associate's degree in marketing, but I'm making double, almost triple what I would make at a 9 to 5. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but it also, it's not completely secure. So it's, you got to deal with slow season and stuff like that. So
What
but
ma-
yeah, it's hard.
What made you move to Nashville initially?
I visited here one time and I was in Dallas and I was like, you know what? I was like, I think I just kind of want to move and I didn't know anybody. Didn't know a single soul. Met my roommates through a Facebook group. Drove up here one weekend to meet them and with my dogs. And then I moved here 6 months later
Wow.
and immediately got a job on Broadway.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. I like went searching for it.
You weren't a bartender in Tyler.
Oh no, so I moved from Dallas. But
Oh,
I
okay.
had like bartended before and stuff like that ever since I was like 17. So
Wow.
I've been in the service industry a while. So yeah, moved here, didn't know nobody.
Whoa.
Yeah, I feel like I was kind of grandfathered in. I say that a lot because before COVID, I feel like all the people kind of a little bit before COVID, if you were in the
Yeah.
service industry, kind of got grandfathered in.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
So you've been bartending pretty much your whole life, but your dad is still like, it's not a real job.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bet you make more money than your dad.
Ooh.
I currently don't, but
But wouldn't it be cool
Let's
if you
say you
did?
do.
yeah, I guess suck it. I'll be like, I'll buy your hearing aids later.
There you go.
Yeah, so
So you like your relationship with him is like, how would you describe it? Do you feel like you have to put on some kind of like different Caroline?
oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's where the trauma dump comes.
Bring it on.
And here's where the trauma dump
Well,
starts.
everybody has a great relationship with their father.
And their mother. Don't you know?
Bitch, who? Who? Darcy?
Yeah.
So, what's your relationship with your dad like?
I'm like, do we have tequila?
That's tequila.
Yeah. What's my It's good now. It's great. It's the relationship I've always wanted.
Okay.
No, and I'm not even being sarcastic. I swear. It's just
Because you crafted it that way. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, actually. But yeah, that's basically what happened. So I had to form it into what it is today. And I'm very grateful for it. I'm very thankful for it. But
What was it?
garbage.
Ooh, he's French?
No, unfortunately.
What was it like when you were younger? Before you, it sounds like you intentionally tried to repair to have the relationship that you have now. But what was it like before that was tough, that needed to change?
I mean, if we're gonna go into the deep depths of it, we will.
That's what we talk about.
Yeah. So let's start back in my little like East Texas town. I was kind of raised to be a hard ass. Well, not kind of. I was raised to be a hard ass, and so my dad was very like black and white, but then he was very like verbally and like physically abusive, and so just to me, not my mom. But and he had already had a previous marriage, and I have 2 older half sisters and an older half brother. So he had done some things in that marriage as well. So he just continued the cycle, and my mom just happened to be the one that, got sucked into it. And so I think my dad kind of like resented me for a really long time. And then I have a sister that's 21. I told y'all about that.
Right.
So I think just going through all of that and living with a narcissistic human for 17 years and just being in that environment, like it has molded me into the person that I am today with a lot of, help. So, but yeah,
How do you think living with a narcissistic parent affected you?
it hardcore.
How did it show up?
How did it show up?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not an affectionate person. I never have been. It just now probably right when I moved to Nashville is when me and my dad's relationship really started getting to where I wanted it to be. Like he was, I do believe some people change, but they always deep down will still have those qualities of their old, life and stuff like that. But, like I said, I'm not an affectionate person. I'm very emotionally numb to a lot of things. And that's where a lot of my humor comes from. So yeah, just emotionally numb, and then just having that hard ass mentality when I don't need to necessarily in some situations. And then just being insensitive sometimes, just, being a bitch.
Yeah. Where do you see those get in the way of like your relationships with like friends or coworkers or partners?
Okay, for example, today I made a joke, and my toxic trait is making jokes when there's awkward situations, and I just try to make everybody laugh. Sometimes it's a little insensitive because I'm still learning and growing on how to, be like, hey, that's kind of a bitch. That's cunty. So that I thankfully have had a lot of friends call me out on that and correct me. And I'm always the first one to apologize now. And so today,
that's nice.
Yeah. And today I said a really insensitive joke to one of my best friends. And then I was she's like, that really hurt my feelings. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'm like, that was really insensitive and I'm really sorry. I will work on that and think about it for the next time. And that's a big thing that's affected me in my relationships with friends and like, you know, partners and stuff like that, is just being emotionally numb and not realizing, hey, that's hurting their feelings. Because I did, like, growing up, I didn't have people that would call me out and be like, hey, Caroline, you're being a bitch. So, and just in my adult life, like I said, I'm thankful for the friends that have come along and called me out.
Yeah.
Is that, go ahead.
Well, I'm just curious what you're numbing out.
What I'm numbing out?
If you're emotionally numb, like what are you numbing out and not wanting to feel?
I don't know, because I've accepted an apology that I'm never going to get from my dad and on the things that he's done, because he still to this day thinks he did no wrong. And he told me that he would go to his grave and never tell me sorry.
What?
Well, if he's a narcissist, then that makes sense.
But I mean, I don't know. I think it's just like a trigger. Like, I just don't like when stuff gets really, you know, emotional and stuff like that. I just kind of shut down. But I've gotten a lot better. So I just kind of tune out the really like deep emotional stuff. Like, for example, you know, I had a few family members pass away during COVID and stuff like that. And I think I just kind of like just shut down. And like people think that I don't care sometimes, but I do care. It's just my way of like processing it and coping with things, I guess. But it's not a healthy way to cope with it. But yeah, like,
I don't think you're processing it.
Well, maybe I'm not processing it, but they're like
numbing out from it.
But they're like, hey, like, people are like, oh, you just don't care. And I'm like, just because I'm being quiet and I'm just sitting here, you know, well, I think processing it. But I'm like, it doesn't mean that I don't care.
Well, tell me what processing it for you feels like. Because I get like we numb out, it's a protecting thing we do to get through a really tough situation. Does it ever circle back around where you actually feel what you were pushing down?
No, because I'm medicated.
We need a compilation.
Girly, here we are.
I want a compilation video of that face that Melanie made, because
You're like, God, this bitch, who do we bring on here?
No, not at all.
No,
No.
that's
Just
not what it
kidding.
is.
Not at all.
like,
She just cares.
Well, I just...
No, and I hate
I
that
know
I had to do that.
your internal world is probably tough
Oh, yeah.
than what you present with.
Oh, yeah.
Get just with what you say, like numbing it and just some of the things, like, because it's typical. We're not shown how to feel and process things.
No.
And we think we feel something and we do something to distract ourselves and the feeling goes away. We think we've processed it. But they say emotions have beginning, middle, and end. We normally stop it in the beginning or middle and think we process through it. But we stop it, and that's what keeps stuff stuck in our body. And that's where anxiety and our body will get sick from it.
Yeah. And back to me being, you know, Zoloft girly. So that was a whole...
That's a good numbing drug.
Yeah, it is. But I will say that it wasn't... I didn't take it lightly because my dad is, like, very old-fashioned. So, like, I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was 8. And my dad was like, it's all in your head. I'm like, no shit. I'm like, no shit, it's all in my head. And he's like, nope, I don't believe in all that, which I'm grateful that I didn't have it for like a certain period of time. But I definitely, if I could go back, I would have taken it, like medication for it. But then with all the walking around on eggshells and stuff like that, all of that anxiety and stuff like that didn't start appearing until... So my parents got divorced in my senior year of high school, like March, and I graduated in June. And it was very traumatic, like, I mean, what happened and what my dad did. And so all of that, like, once he was out of the house, all of those emotions for, 17 years, all came at once, and they all hit me. And I didn't know how to process it. I didn't know how to deal with it. And my mom didn't either. She was like... She's like, stop freaking out. And I'm like, I couldn't go to the movies. I couldn't drive in my car. Like... It was a lot, and I didn't know how to deal with any of it. And then I'll forever be grateful for the person. I was a professional nanny. Yeah, surprisingly, I'm great with kids. So I was a professional nanny, and the mom was like, hey, she's like, I just want to tell you that I think that you should go to this doctor that I have. She was like, you need to get on some anxiety medication. I was like, nope, that's the easy route out. I'm not doing it. And she's like, you sound like your dad. And I'm like, bitch.
You cunt.
I'm like, yeah, that's not serving cunt. And I'm like, okay, so I did. And he was like, and it was, as soon as I started taking it, it's like my whole world was just like,
Oh,
yeah. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, this is what it feels like to have a normal day where you're not constantly like, you know, feeling like you're having an outer body experience. And so, yeah. And then I got on that, and I mean, I've been on it for a while. Do I want to get off of it eventually? 100%.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I'm doing good and it's, you know, helping me in my adult life, then why would I get off of it right now?
Yeah.
So, but I'm a big advocate for it within reason.
of course.
So,
Yeah.
I don't want people to like, there's obviously a lot of side effects. I was very fortunate to not have any bad side effects. I was completely fine.
Good.
So yeah, I was like, okay, maybe this is meant to be. So yeah.
No, it's a helpful tool. Just like, I mean, there's so many tools. It's figuring out what works best for you.
And my dad didn't really understand what anxiety was, but he's actually diagnosed bipolar. And so, but he refuses medication. So I was like, okay, so when I had to explain to him, like as our relationship was getting better, I was like, this is anxiety, like this is what it is. And I'm like, it comes from you. And I'm like, this is how you respond to me, and this is how you should deal with it. And like now I talk to him more than I talk to my own mom.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, but he's like more understanding now. Yes,
Yeah, I was
it's
curious
so
what
weird.
like moved y'all from kind of how it was before to where it is now. Like, what do you think changed?
I mean, I honestly don't know when the turning point was. Like right when I was in college, I was like a sophomore in college, he got diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer.
Whoa.
Beat it. Without chemo or radiation, was like, I don't want it. I don't know how
He's
he did
wild,
it. Yeah, he's wild. Don't know how he did it. It's come back. And then a year ago, he had an emergency triple bypass. Yes. This motherfucker, I don't know how he's still working. I'm like, what are you doing? So, yeah, but I don't know what the turning point was. Well, he did get remarried, and I will say that my stepmom has, like, really been the best thing for him. Like, I've never seen my dad laugh like that.
Wow.
Yes. And it's like, it makes me sad because it wasn't with my mom, but also I'm like, okay, I would take this version of my dad any day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess a little bit of him and his health scares, and then my stepmom too. So yeah, I don't know. It was just super weird. It just like all happened at once, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, did you wake up one day and realize, hey, I'm old as fuck. I'm probably gonna like.
Sometimes that'll do it. The health scares will do it too. Yeah.
So,
Are you able, you mentioned this kind of, but you said you were like mourning the apology you're never going to get from him. Have you just like let that go, or do you
no,
still
I've
like,
accepted it. I accepted it a long time ago.
that you're not going to get one?
That I'll never get one.
Oh, okay.
He still to this day will like not like if he, let's just say I accidentally knock your coffee over or something, he wouldn't say sorry for that. He'd be like, oh damn. And I'm like, you can't even say sorry like when you're wrong or anything. Nope. So I've just accepted it, and it's just a part of him that's never gonna go away.
That's wild.
So I guess that's back to me being a little bit emotionally numb to certain things. Like I've accepted certain things that I know he won't change, and I just kind of, you know what, I know my boundaries, and if I don't like it, then I'll walk away.
Yeah.
And he knows that.
So you've learned how to be in relationship with him in a way that feels comfortable for you, and safer ways to maintain boundaries, I guess.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What's your relationship with your mom like?
We argue a lot.
Yeah.
We argue a lot. I think because we're very similar, and I didn't think she realized that she was gonna raise like the spitting image of her. So, yeah, and so we argue a lot. And when but the thing is I don't think she's fully healed. I don't think she's fully healed from any of it, and that's on her.
Yeah.
And like I've tried to explain things to her. I'm like, hey, why don't this is how I'm looking at it, or this is how you should look at it. And she's not big on listening very well. So I'm like, okay, Tracy. I'm like, all right, go back to your garden. Go back.
That's some good advice.
Well, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. We'll just argue just to argue. So, I mean, I still am like have a good relationship with her, but I talk to my dad like once a week, and then my mom will call me, I guess, whenever. So, I mean, it's just weird.
So you
it's
just
weird.
said we have a
It's turned.
good relationship.
I don't think she's not receptive to the healing process. And I think she's low key, I feel like she's kind of bitter that me and my little sister have a good relationship with my dad.
Yeah.
And because my dad has clearly made a lot of changes in his life, but my mom hasn't fully healed and she won't admit that.
Ooh,
She
That's
won't.
hard.
And like, it's not,
that's hard. Yes.
and it's not I don't hate her for it, but I'm just like, you're just stuck in your unhealed ways and that's on you.
You're missing how big that
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
I'm like, it's okay to be at peace. You don't have to be like, you know, all pent up all the time.
Does she still talk about him?
No. No. But she hasn't got remarried or anything like that. She's like dated and stuff like that. But that's a whole fiasco.
What do you mean?
She's like, well, I don't want to really like talk shit about her or anything, but she just had a lot of dating escapades like after my parents. Like she's had rings pulled on her. She was engaged at one point. And then
I love how you said rings pulled on.
yeah, they're like, here you go.
She's like Super
like
Bowl
your
ring.
Usually,
like, put the ring on.
it just sounded so terrifying.
Yeah, well, like
She's had rings pulled on her.
Like guys are like,
Out of
hey,
nowhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
out of nowhere. But I mean, she like got engaged one time and didn't tell me about it. And the guy, see, I'm one of those people. I'm like, I feel like even though I'm in my adult life and whatever, it doesn't matter. I feel like it's a respect thing to come and ask her children for their blessing, whether I give it or not. I feel like it's a respect thing. He said that I didn't deserve that. And so I said, cool. Well, you don't deserve my mother.
Yeah.
And I'm like, meet me out at Popeyes at 6. We're going to square up in the parking lot. And I'm like,
For real?
yeah, I swear. No, I didn't really meet him at Popeyes. I was kidding.
You didn't seem like you were kidding.
I mean, I thought about
I did think 6 p.m. was kind of early though.
daylight. So
I guess you
everybody
have
still
like
sees it.
a 9 p.m. bedtime. You're like, yeah, I'll meet you at 6.
I'm like, I'm going to start getting ready for bed at 8, so I got to get this over with.
I gotta beat your ass at 6, bro.
By 9.
Yeah. Got to
But
curb
you-
stomp you in the parking lot and then go back.
And then go to sleep.
Yeah.
But she didn't marry this guy.
No, thank God.
Thank
God.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. So she's been more of, I guess, like on the toxic side of it, which if she watches this, you're not toxic.
Oh,
But just like in the healing era of it, I guess.
yeah.
So I've definitely, like, my dad is more advanced in that aspect than she is, which everybody does it their own way. But I think her being in that small town and that closed-minded, like around all those people, that's hindering a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of like small town is like, what are other people thinking and what are other people doing?
And I feel like she raised me to be a certain way, and she's not doing those things of the way that she raised me. Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's like weird having to watch your own mom do the things that like, or just like do things and you're like, wait, that's not how you raised
What you
me.
preached,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I don't know. It's not that I don't like despise her or anything for it. It's just, I just wish she would.
You want better for her.
Yeah. I just wish she would take time to like go and heal herself, because she hasn't.
What ways have you, whether it's therapy or whatever, everybody has their own like ways of doing their healing work. What's that look like for you?
Well, anger management.
Okay.
No, that was actually a joke, but I did go to anger management. My
You
parents,
did?
No, my parents forced me to go. My dad forced me to go to anger management as a child. And I was like, this
It's
is
weird
just
when
making me angrier. And I'm like, I'm going to break shit. I'm like,
But as a child, if you're just angry, it's
because of him.
well, it's because you don't know how to feel or express anything else.
Yep. He like blamed all of my parents' like issues, which were all him. He blamed it on me because I was like acting out. Well, I like wasn't acting out. Like I was a good kid, but I was so angry all the time. And I'm like, I'm a reflection of you. Like that's, yeah. And so he's like, we need to put her in therapy. We need to put her in anger management. And I just remember going to the lady. She was so sweet. But I was like, I'm not speaking to you. This is pissing me off. Like being here is making me even madder.
Yeah.
And like, it didn't do anything. And so that was that whole thing. Well, I did learn some coping mechanisms, I guess. So It's fine. I'm like, whatever. Just warn people 3 times. You're backing me in a corner, man.
About to meet your ass at Popeyes, bitch.
Yeah, and I'm like, square up. Square up a Dairy Queen down the street because we're going.
Popeyes and Dairy Queen.
These locations are so scary, bro.
They are. It's East Texas. I'm like, the Sonic, ocean water, going straight to your dome. I'm like,
It's a waste of a good ocean water. Wait, so you would, that's a coping, you would warn people like, I'm getting upset. I'm getting upset.
yeah, but during high school and stuff like that growing up, no, I did not really know how to cope
You would
with
just
it.
clock somebody.
Really?
But my dad, this is how my
You
dad,
were
like, he was
scrappy.
No,
Yeah.
he was such a hard ass. He was like, if somebody, he was like, don't you ever hit first. He was like, but if somebody, he's like, but if I get called up to the school and you have lost
didn't
a
hit
fight,
back.
I'm beating your ass again.
And he's wondering why you're
And
upset.
I'm like, okay. And so, I mean, just like that, like people were intimidated because I made myself out to be that way. And they knew, like, people knew ways to get underneath my skin and stuff like that. And I was always the person that would say something, which my mouth has gotten me in trouble. But I like that part of me because I'm always going to be the person that's going to stand up and say something. I'm never going to back down and just sit there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just being a hard ass and stuff like that. It just, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't just like go up and just be like, boom.
Right.
But
you had that feeling in your
Mentality.
head. Yeah. Where you were like, I'm on the defense.
yeah.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's a rough way to be raised just to have that.
Has that shifted for you think? Or
Oh,
is
yeah.
it still, because the industry, being in the service industry calls for that from things I've heard. That is just, I mean, you have guys gawking at you, grabbing you.
I'm real mean.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. But sometimes I love that.
I mean, yeah, like it does help because like I was raised to be a hard ass and a smart ass. So I'm like, okay, like I'll give it right back to you. Like, you know, those memes, I'm not even trying to like be cocky, but like those memes where they're like, oh, da, 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 you're like, no, I'll hurt your feelings. Like,
Right.
don't. Like, I'm not the one. And so it's like, it's funny, but at the same time, like I know when to like shut off that part of me. So I'm not always like, you know, trying to curb stomp people and stuff like that. But I can turn it on if I need to.
Gotcha.
Where was that shift? Like you went to anger management, it didn't work. But when did you start to see yourself opening up to people? And like, is there a certain person that helped you do that? Or
There's not really a certain like person, but I think just, it just kind of happened like maybe a year or two before I moved to Nashville. I just like, I don't know. I just hit rock bottom with a lot of friendships and just like my life. And I was like, okay, like the way that I'm living is not how I should be living. And I'm just like the way that I'm treating people. And so I did a lot of, you know, self-reflection. Then I just decided it wasn't me running from my problems to move to Nashville, but I just wanted a fresh start.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, fresh, new me. And I just wanted a fresh start. And so I think that's kind of where the shift happened, I guess.
yeah,
So, yeah.
that's dope. Have you been to therapy before?
Yeah, I have like a couple of times, but I mean, and everybody needs therapy, but
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm not saying like I'm great and like completely healed, but I am healed for the most part to where I don't feel like I need to be like a regular at therapy.
Nice.
Like it's good for everybody. I think everybody should go, but yeah, I've learned how to like cope with certain things. Like I feel like I have. And then, you know, maybe there are some parts that I do need to like go and get worked on. But yeah, no, but for the most part, I've like definitely like Nashville has molded me into a completely different person. And I mean, I'm grateful for the people that have called me out and like helped me like change certain bad habits about myself and stuff like that. Like, but yeah, just like getting angry, like I'll warn you, or I'll be like, oh yeah, that's really annoying. But then I'll be like, okay, like, hey, like you are backing me in a corner. I'm about to get really pissed off. But getting to that third point, which that's what they taught me, getting to that third point where I'm like, okay, this is it. Like everybody in my path, just, you're going to feel the wrath. And I don't ever get to that point. Like I don't ever get mad.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that's healed about me. I don't ever get mad.
That's huge.
I don't ever, like stuff will annoy me because I'm ADHD, and I'll just get annoyed. But yeah, I don't ever get mad. But if you do break me to that point, somebody somebody's getting curbed off in Dairy Queen. So,
The therapist in me,
oh God, here we go.
it's not healthy to not ever get mad.
I mean, I get mad, but not like to the point where I'm like blacking out pissed. Like to
Rage.
Yes.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
So
If that's what it's called.
well, there's rage, and then there's different versions of like our emotions and the way we feel them. And when you shut something down so much, it'll turn to rage and come out as rage. Versus anger is like a healthy emotion, and when you can express it in ways, it helps things move and like change.
Yeah.
It helps things to shift and be different, and for you to speak up for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And so I would say, even when you say that bothered me and you give them that warning, that's anger being expressed in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Versus when you sit on something for a long time and then it comes, and which is, it looks like you at a younger age, that's all you knew was like, hold it in until you explode.
Oh yeah. And speaking of that, like another thing my dad did, I was not allowed to cry. You were not allowed to cry. So like I've learned it's okay to cry. It's okay to cry sometimes. And so I'll cry like out of frustration and stuff like that. But he's like, I'll give you something to cry about. So,
Right.
But I was just not allowed to. Like that was a sign of weakness for my dad. And so like now, I mean, I'm a lot better. I can be a little emotional sometimes. But yeah, so that's
it's okay
another
to
thing
be a lot of emotional.
I know, and I'm like that friend that everybody always like makes fun of me for. I'm that friend like in the meme when there's somebody crying in the corner, they have the broom, they're like, there, like you're not emotional friend. Like that's me. And I'm like, dry it up, sister.
Oh.
I know, but it's like coming from like a good place. But yeah, no, I've learned to be a little more emotional. It's okay.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
yeah.
Do you have a person that you find yourself able to like really open up around to where you're like, man, I just feel comfortable crying around you or being super not tough?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have like, I mean, most of my like close friends I do for sure. Like
Nice.
I'm not afraid to like express emotion to
Yeah.
them unless I don't know you. Then I'm like, no, fuck off. But like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm not like, it's not hard for me to open up to people
Good.
anymore. So yeah, I don't have that hard ass mentality of like, I can't be vulnerable anymore.
Nice.
So which is good.
That's really good.
Yeah.
The anger thing is interesting because I want to say this. I was going to talk to my therapist about this week. So I'm just going to bring it up now.
She's like, I'm really fucking angry.
Okay. So when someone, like I'll be having a great day, I think. And then someone will cut me off and the rage,
Girl, same.
it's rage.
Wait, like cut you off like in the car?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or like do something that I don't like traffic wise.
Yes.
And I'm not just upset. I'm like instant out of 10. I could chase you down and drive to your home.
I have like, I don't know if I can
You're
get
like,
that far.
actually, I planted a bomb at your house. Like, this is what's happening.
Dog. And I've just been noticing that. I'm like, what about traffic is making me go from 0 to 100 out of nowhere? And I try to be like,
Did you figure it out?
okay, so I've tried to talk to myself.
Causing the rage.
Yeah, I've tried to talk to myself and be like, let's investigate this. Are you stressed about a show? Are you tired? You know, like what is, and sometimes that talking will get me down to like, okay, just you're upset, but sometimes it don't. I'm just I'm just mad, rage mad.
That's how I get like when I
In
get
traffic?
No, like not even just that, but like certain things will just be like, I'll just get so fucking mad. Like
Yeah, do you feel it in your body?
Yes, like
I'm
I
like
was
that with
full
traffic.
on rage. I was full on rage.
It's a barometer.
Sunday, somebody, like not to interrupt you, but there was somebody locked their dog in a car across from Barstool when I was working, and we had no idea. But then the fire department showed up, got the dog out of the car. Then the family came running up, and they were like, oh, you know, she was like, the mom was like petting, and they had 2 kids. And I'm like, no, fuck that bitch. I'm like, cite her with a ticket. Metro did nothing. They gave her back the dog. She was good. And I'm like, I like let it ruin my whole shift.
Right.
It ruined my whole shift. I was so mad. Everybody's like, you need to take a deep breath. I'm like, no.
And that just makes you
I'm
more mad.
pissed. Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm pissed. And I'm like, you know, how about I lock your kid in a hot car like
Right.
that poor dog? And I'm just like, so yeah, I get it. Like, it's just certain situations you're just like, I'm gonna floor it into the back of this car.
Right. And it's very hard to, like, even if you are wronged, if you're in the right, whatever, people get scared of anger. When you react, I mean, people get scared of emotions. And when you're super happy, people are like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You know? But like with anger, they're like with the dog, they're like, oh, you need to chill. And it's like, why are you not on my level?
Exactly.
Because, and it's hard to like I feel in my body when I get that kind of upset, it's like wanting to burst out of my skin. And it's so hard to just sit with that and be like, what do I do with all this energy until it passes? And sometimes it's a long time.
Have you been to a rage room?
No.
I want to go to one really bad.
You think it would help?
Breaking
It
shit?
helps. There's some studies
ask her.
that say that rage rooms actually entice more rage. But
I don't want to pay to go break things.
I've had friends like
You don't get in trouble for vandalizing.
I think it would feel really good. And I've had friends that weren't really allowed to express anger as a child, like go and do that. And it felt great. So I think you just go and see how it feels and works for you.
Right.
So it's not recommended.
I think it is.
Oh, well, you just said that, like,
Go and see what it feels like for
entices,
you.
Like,
There are studies that'll say like going and doing like kickboxing classes and rage rooms, like you're enticing that energy, and so it can create more of that for some people. But some of my personal friends have gone and loved it and thought it was super helpful in getting stuff out. So I'd just go try it and see how you.
just like go with like
If
a
it
friend
works
or two
for
and
you.
just like break shit, and that way you get away with it instead of people being like, "Hello, police!" Like she's breaking shit like in the street.
They got them on speed dial.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, my
know.
friend went once. I mean, I guess I would go. I don't know. I guess I'd rather just buy a vase from Goodwill and take it out back instead of
see, but
going.
then you have to clean it up. You
Oh,
don't-
that's
see,
true.
Yeah,
I've suggested to clients that you get like a Nerf baseball bat and like just beat your bed.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I think my dog would have a stroke if they saw me doing it. So I'm like, yeah, no.
I think that for me, the rage, I get really rageful with like traffic.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like driving in Nashville traffic. And it was like my stress levels on my ring were like, they're like, what happened? And I was like, I drove to work.
Damn.
Like I looked, I'm like, I went to work. But what gets me the most is people, if they're inconsiderate, cutting you off. And now all the stuff that's building up around here,
Yeah.
there's cars on both sides of the road. And so you're just like waiting for people to come. You're like doing
Right.
this, trying to get down a straight street. And when they block the alleys, all the construction, I like have Tourette's. Like I'm
Yeah.
just so mad. But it feels like a barometer of like, sometimes like someone will cut me off and I'm like, oh no, you go ahead. Like in a
Right.
smart ass way, but I'm kind of like, go ahead.
I'm flooring that bitch.
Versus
You're not getting in front of me.
versus there's days where I'll feel like that. And to me, it's always like how stressed I get in traffic is a barometer for just how grounded I am.
Totally.
And like being tired or having a lot of stuff going on and being stressed
So
makes
true.
it worse versus when you are, for me, if I'm pretty grounded, then
You let people in.
it's
Yeah,
like, yeah,
that's true.
That's really annoying, you know, versus like, motherfuckers,
Yeah.
get the fuck out of my way. Like that
So
kind of,
true.
it's like in my head, I'm like, ugh.
And I've noticed, like, I've been noticing, like, the minute I get upset with someone for doing something, I do that same thing 5 minutes later, and I'll just be like, fuck.
You know what I used to do in college is there's this thing called Bahama Bucks. It's like a snow cone place. Have you ever heard of it? Okay, well, they give you can buy like 30 pre-made snowballs
What?
any time of the year. It's a year long. And so when people would piss me off in college, I just take that snowball out and just. You can't do that nowadays. You'll get shot. But yeah,
You would hit their car?
straight up snowball. It didn't damage anything. It's just
Yeah.
snow. It's
Just a little shock.
yeah. They're like, oh, fuck.
Wow.
I'm like, yeah. Learn to drive. Use your blinker.
They're
bitch.
like, well, that's that Popeye's girl.
They're like, God.
Yeah, I
That's
feel
funny.
like I've done some crazy shit on the road for sure.
Yeah.
I've put a shirt over my hand in the shape of a gun.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
I will. If I should, I'll shoot somebody a bird, but I hold it down here.
You like have your shirt on and you're like,
Yeah, it obviously it looked fine. Yeah, they're like, those are her fingers, but she's crazy.
you're like, I've got something.
I'm packing.
She left me alone.
That's so funny.
Darcy comes over.
She's like, let me help.
A guy the other night blocked, like he wouldn't let us merge, and we did anyway. He blocked the on-ramp to the highway and got out and just started throwing rocks at our car.
What?
And we just backed up and went around him. And at the
Wait,
time, it was
that happened to you the other day?
yeah. And it was
He was throwing rocks.
He got out of his car, blocked the on-ramp to the highway, and just throwing rocks at our car. We had to back up.
run him over.
What
Go
did he get
around
so
him.
mad at? What happened?
I would have got that same rock and thrown it at his head.
We were merging to go on the highway, and he wouldn't let us in. So all this traffic was being backed up, and we just got in, and he did not like that at all. And at the time, it was very, like, we were shaking. We were scared. But I think about him sometimes where I'm like, God, he must have been having the worst fucking day. And then just one more person cutting ahead of him. And he was like, I'm going to get out of my car and risk my life. I'm ending it.
or that, you know what it makes me think of? Where
I'm
he's
getting
like,
arrested today.
yeah. Where he's like,
I don't have any money for food. I have to go to prison.
I'm going to
Go to
throw
jail, get
rocks
some
through your window, you dumb whore.
Oh, I have a story.
think of.
This is a weird story.
Dr. Phil is playing.
I have a similar story that happened. It was really weird. I got to the office, and you know, there's a driveway in the front at my therapy office. There's a driveway, but there's most of the parking's in the back, but I park in the front. And I went to pull in, and this man was standing right in the middle of the driveway where I would pull in. So I thought he would see me. And I'm like just sitting there in the road, like waiting to turn in. And so I rolled down the window. I was like, sir, can I pull in there? And he like ignored me. And I asked him like 3 times.
Is he old?
No. And then he was an unwell person.
Oh, fuck.
And then he looked at me.
Crackhead?
His eyes were very beady and sharp.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Because then he finally like looked at me and I was like, can I pull in there? And he like looked, he said, this is a sidewalk and I can be here.
Oh, bro.
And I was
See,
like,
my intrusive thoughts.
well, I was like, yeah, you can. Can I pull in there though? And he
You're
was
too
like,
nice.
and he was again was like, this is a sidewalk. I can be here. And I was like, can I pull in there? And he's like, are you asking? I was like, yeah.
No, I'm telling you.
And he's like, okay.
Oh,
And then he
weird.
like walked up. I was on the phone with my admin. She was like, I was ready to dial 911.
I'm glad he walked away.
Well, I saw him again later walking down the alley, but then I didn't see him again after that. But
I hate that.
people like have,
It's
know?
that one moment in their day where they're
Well,
like, this is it.
See, I'm desensitized to that, I guess. I'll
Why?
just straight up be like, I will run you over, get out of my way. Like, and
Well,
you can't
it's-
really approach things like that.
Yeah, you don't want to have a brawl right before work.
Well, I mean, yeah, but sometimes they're just testing you, which I've
Well, it
learned
was-
downtown with the crackheads.
I feel like it was scary for a minute. You know, it was a little scary because he was kind of hostile.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you're by yourself, so.
But when I heard him say, this is a sidewalk and I can be here, I'm like, he's just not been respected or had his, he was like, I can be here. It was like, I just heard he was trying to like stand up for some part of him that's very angry because that's just what I saw. And that's why I was just like, yeah, I'm asking to pull in there.
Totally.
Because if I told him, he'd probably,
Here's my toxic trait.
Would
I'm
have, like-
oh God, I'm not that nice. I'm like,
well, that's like a
well,
different
to
day,
me, it's
right?
not about being nice. I don't know. I didn't see like somebody just trying to be an asshole for no reason.
Yeah.
I'm like, and that's just a therapist brain. I think you just see like there's something behind all these, when we act these ways, there's always something behind it and that has nothing to do with me. And it was kind of out of self-preservation and my own safety of just like, just responding in a certain way.
yeah.
Like shooting the bird down here.
Oh, yeah, that's my cop bird. Fuck off. Blue lives, yeah. Fuck yourself.
Wait, so do you think, let me ask you this, do you think me being, I guess, not necessarily, I mean, I love to like not really roast people, but just like go back and forth, and just that's why I started the street interviews. I can just come out with a quick. Same thing with working in bartending. Do you think that that's like not really a coping mechanism for me, or do you think that that's part of the like the way that I react to people like that when I'm like working is
like getting angry?
Not really necessarily angry, but just I guess like desensitized and stuff like that. Do you think that's because of the way that I was raised, or like?
Do you?
I don't know. Do you think that's just maybe?
I think a lot of times we're conditioned by our childhood to experience our lives the way we do, and to have the coping skills and that we do, and so. But that doesn't mean everything you do is from that. But I'd be curious. That question came up for you as a result of me saying that.
I don't know. I'm just like thinking about it, you know?
Yeah. That's all you can do. Get curious about it.
I mean, because I'm like mean when I bartend, but I'm not like too mean, I guess. Like I don't have the tolerance for some people sometimes.
I would say just the little bit that you've shared around the messaging around, like, you have to be tough. Like emotions are weak. Like, suck it up.
Yeah,
you get in trouble for having, like, I would say your environment is probably like your nervous system doesn't have like, it's very primal. And if it gets a sense of anything that you've experienced before that's unsafe, it reacts in the same way. And depending on the coping skills you learn to manage and stay safe in that, will get triggered again. So if you feel threatened, or just if the environment that you're in feels unsafe in any similar way that your childhood did in your home, you'd be reacting the same way. So every time you do that doesn't mean it's a response.
Yeah.
Because it becomes a part of just how you go about your life.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I also feel like, back to what you said earlier, like being a woman in this industry, you do have to have thick skin. And I guess that I feel like part of being in this industry too is you gotta stand up for yourself. Like, yeah, a crackhead's bothering you. I'm like, I'll bother you back. Like, don't.
I used to work in construction for 14 years.
Oh God, that's fun.
So I get male-dominated things and having to have a tough skin.
Yeah.
Because if you show something bothers you, you get it more.
Yeah.
If you react to it. It's like little children in adult men bodies.
Oh my God. And I've never, and this sounds really mean.
Sorry, guys.
I've never met more stupid people until I started working on Broadway. And I mean that in the nicest way.
Well, they're all inebriated.
Yeah.
No, just people are sober too.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh my God, is this good for my mental health? I'm like,
Yeah, how long have you been
doing for my
doing
anger
that?
management? Like,
Right.
So I've had a couple of clients that work on
Yeah,
Broadway in the past, like years ago. But that's how I knew about some of just the mentality, and it is tough.
yeah.
Wears on your body really hard. Just the stress of it all, and then the mental aspect is really difficult. And then if you have any sort of temptation around substances being a problem, it's just right there in front of you all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And the people, a lot of times when I waited tables, the only time you'd get a break if you went outside to smoke. And so I started smoking.
Right.
I would go outside to get a break and would smoke, at work. And so you're around, I know the mentality around like, once the bar shuts down,
Party time.
you're not ready to go to sleep right then. You wind down. And so it is a hard industry to navigate and maintain mental health or try to heal in it.
Yeah. I feel like it's helped heal a little bit just because I've met some of the best freaking people, like bartending and just like serving and stuff like that. Like I would have never met those people if I wouldn't have been in the industry. And I don't know, I feel like a bartender sometimes is not really your own personal therapist, but like you just like talk things out. If you're a regular with somebody, and I feel like maybe that's helped in my own healing journey, just like going back and forth and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, being there for others is definitely healing.
Yeah.
Can be healing too, for sure.
yeah, my love language is acts of service, so it's kind of
Oh, that's nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your podcast has helped in healing for you at all? Or is it just something fun that you do?
It's just something fun that I do. I think the street interviews is, I mean,
I bet that's fun.
it is. It is really fun, and I will say that I was one of the original people. Like they're the guys that got the Hawk Tuah girl on video. They were the OGs, and then I came along. So we were the first like 3 people doing all the street interviews, and then
It sucks that they got no we're just like those guys that got the Hawk Tuah.
and I'm like, you were made from a Hawk Tuah, bitch. Like you're 21. Like, you don't know what life is right now.
I love her.
I think she's great, but yeah, I'm just like, really? I'm like, a real bitch has been doing that. So yeah, no, I just do it for fun mostly, and just because like I don't know, it's great to just like really roast people on the street, and like when they, for example, hey, do you know who this is? And it's like Jason Aldean. They're like, can you trust me? And I'm like, no, you're going into his bar right now. Like, oh.
Whatever.
Like, yeah.
That's funny.
Like I've had a lot of people like message. There's a lot of videos that I've had to take down because people are like, can you please take this down? Like,
Oh no.
oh my God. Like this one dude, he's a preacher's kid. And I posted the video. He's like, I'd suck a fart out of her ass. And he's like, can you take that down? My dad saw it. And I was like, oh no, it's okay.
Do you take it down?
Yeah, I took it down.
Well, that was kind.
I mean,
I wasn't expecting everybody to be like, so?
No, I'm
Not my
nice
problem.
sometimes.
But if you already saw it.
I know.
I know.
It doesn't
Damage
matter.
is done,
Yeah.
bro. Like, too late.
Whatever. But yeah, it's fun. I don't think it's like
Suck
really I don't think I was like, tell her
Ew.
how fat her ass really is. So, but
Suck a fart out of a butt.
yeah.
Suck a fart.
I had somebody ask a question that said, if you smell your own fart, does that mean your fart is back in your body?
No. What?
I was like, that is an interesting question, honestly, to think about.
You want to make it even worse? When you hold in a fart, it comes through as a burp.
Ew.
What?
Shit
Said
mouth.
who?
Shit mouth.
I gotta Google this later.
I saw it on a TikTok.
I knew you were going to say TikTok.
Listen,
It must be true, then.
I love
It was on TikTok.
TikToks. Okay, I don't post them, but I do like watching.
You don't post
them.
TikToks on
Broadway girls. I do, yeah.
Oh, I was about to say. Street
Yeah.
interviews are like
Yeah, that. But
Yeah.
I mean, like my own personal one. I'm like staying up till 3 a.m. watching stuff.
they
I'm
used
like,
to do the thing where they were like, "Hey, stop scrolling."
They
You've been
still
on
do
your
it.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh, they still do it. They're like, and then they have like the little purple dude. He's like, you've been scrolling for a while, and I'm like, get the fuck out of my face.
Wow.
I'm like, leave me alone. This is my coping mechanism. God.
You're learning science.
I'm like,
on
for all
here.
the stupid questions I had to answer today. Yeah.
Yeah, like
bought so much
farts that
shit.
are burps.
Yeah.
That's
if
important.
you hold it in, the gas got to go somewhere else. Never
I
thought
thought
of
it
that.
just eventually comes out when you fall asleep because you're not actively trying to like hold it in.
I don't know.
Is that like the first, what the first thing I think about it, if like I'm seeing somebody and then I stay over, I'm like, wonder how many times I've farted in my sleep.
Oh wow.
Doesn't that scare you?
Well,
What if
I've,
you just
I've been
like
with my guy for a
ripped
long
ass,
time.
just ripped ass hard, and they're just like, they ignore it and never tell you.
Then that's love.
That's anxiety. That's anxiety.
I sleep. Nothing wakes me up, so I'm kind of like,
They just
know.
never tell you. They're like, yeah, you just be shitting your pants in your sleep, and you're like, but never told you.
Oh God. Have you ever had someone that snored and you just
snore.
hold their nose?
Do you want them to die?
No, they. And you're like,
Die.
is everything okay?
You're like, now that you're up.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
I do want to say I watched your video on the birth control thing when you're like, it's not a party favor. I was crying laughing.
I was like, aren't you gay?
And it's funny because I have a video, like my friends, there's like a few friends that I had, they would have a alarm on their phone to take their birth control. I hate that shit. I'm like, just take it in the morning. And we were at a Co-Wetzel concert and she's like, the alarm goes off. She's like, hold on, guys. Takes it out, pops it. I'm like, you can never be a mother. I'm like, no, that's so bad. You're popping your birth control at 6 p.m. at a Co-Wetzel concert? No.
That's hilarious. 6 p.m. is fighting time, bro. You
Shout
gotta know
out.
that. That's Popeye's time.
It is.
That ain't birth control time.
That's why I take mine in the morning.
Come on now.
That's why I take mine in the morning.
What questions should we ask?
do you want?
We can ask the same one. I like that one.
What is worst advice you've ever received?
Oh, that's really hard. I don't know. The worst advice?
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know. That's tough.
Do you know the best advice?
I've gotten a lot of bad advice.
Probably your dad being like, it's all in your head.
Yeah.
Crying's weak.
Yeah.
Shove that shit down.
The best of
It'll come out as a burp later.
Take your party favor at 6 p.m. The best advice I ever got was putting yourself, my dad, well, there was a lot of good that did come out of my dad.
Yeah.
He always told me it's all about the hands you shake.
Mm-hmm.
Always told me that my whole life. He's like, put yourself in a room where, you know, there's going to be other like-minded people in that room. He's like, I don't care if you need to go sit at a bar where you know there's going to be like influential people there or people that you need to like, you know, shake their hands. He goes, I don't care if you drink or not. He's like, go put yourself in a room where you're not comfortable. He's like, go in there. And he was like, you never know who you're going to meet. You never know the hands you're going to shake.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've taken that to heart. And I mean, that's how I made my first friends here.
That's
And that's how I've gotten a lot of the jobs that I've gotten. I'm not kidding. And I mean, I'm grateful for that advice because that's why I'm really outgoing too. Like, I'll talk to anybody. I'll talk to a brick wall. Like,
yeah, that's what you do for a living.
Yep. So that was the best advice I've ever gotten. I don't really, I mean, what? Like, just bad advice? Ugh, I don't even know. Just like say it with your chest, I guess. And that just really has gotten me in some trouble.
Say
Say it with your chest.
They're like, bet.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
I'm like, okay.
So cunty.
I mean, I don't really know. Like, I just picking out one piece of bad advice.
You're like, there's a plethora.
Yeah,
There's a
so
lot.
much.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Where can people follow you, find you, adore you, give you praise?
Please go comment on my post and say serving cunt. So, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok. If you want my personal, it's like, you know, they're kind of jumbled up. I just really wanted to keep it simple. So like my personal is like Caroline West, but 2 E's and 2 T's. It's complicated for some people. Broadway Girls is on Instagram. It's with 2 S's, but then on TikTok, it's with 2 B's, if you can figure that out.
Wow.
It's really
this is a full crossword puzzle.
I mean, I couldn't think of anything else to make it more simple. I didn't want it to be like Broadway Girls 615-350.
Yeah,
like
that's
all that.
true.
I'm like, no.
So Broadway Girls on TikTok with 2 B's.
Yes.
Broadway Girls with 2 S's on Instagram.
Yep.
Okay.
It's that easy. It's that easy.
Perfect. I love that. Thank you for coming. I've had
Yes,
so much
thank
fun
you.
with
Thanks
you.
for coming.
Yeah. Sorry I talked y'all's ear off.
That's
everybody
literally what
says
this is
that.
for.
I feel bad. I'm like over here rambling and my ADD. I'm like interrupting everyone.
That's not
That's what this is.
Okay, cool.
that's not what happened at all. You were a
No.
great
Oh,
guest.
thanks.
You're supposed to
Thanks for
talk.
having me. Okay.
Everybody says that. They're like, I talk
Yeah.
too much. You're the guest.
I know.
I will just say this. You're probably not used to like sharing in the way that you do now. So it's
No.
called a vulnerability hangover.
Yeah, this is the second time I've ever shared like my personal life like on the internet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So thank you for trusting
Yeah.
us to do that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
No, thanks for having me. Thanks for getting it out of me.
Yeah.
Oh, you're wonderful.
Yeah,
I'm glad we met.
Thanks. I love y'all.
Yeah.
I love you too. Precious angel.
I'm not an angel, but I mean, I can be.
You little devil, you.
Thank you for listening to I'm Fine, It's Fine podcast. My name is Amber Autry. I'm a comedian based here in Nashville and internationally touring. You can find me on all platforms at Amber Autry Comedy.
And I am Melanie Reese. I'm a trauma therapist here in Nashville. You can find me across all platforms at Trauma Therapy Nashville.
We really appreciate you listening so much. And if you want to give a little extra for free, make sure you're liking, subscribing, rating, reviewing, sharing with your friends, talking about it to literally everyone you see, because it helps so much. And we're so grateful for the extra effort.
And if you like what you're hearing and you want some bonus material, that includes interviews with other practitioners and all the juicy stuff that Amber and I talk about that doesn't go into the normal podcast. We'd love to have you subscribe. You can find the link in our bio, and $5 a month, you can do it.